Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Watch and Roam. If you like these videos, please do me a favor and subscribe to this channel. The odds are that we will upload another video that might help you or interest you. So let's connect together, don't worry, it's free. And the worst that can happen is that this channel moves to another direction, in which case you can simply unsubscribe at any time. Today, we're taking a look at the Seiko Prospex SNE 499 PADI Special Edition. This is a very interesting watch because of its root specifications, original design, and other things. This is a hell of a watch, and while it doesn't offer the refinement experience you get in other watches, you get a lot in exchange. So first of all, let me mention a big factor for me, which is ease of mind. It's not a very expensive watch in the watch community standards. I mean, it retails for around $450, but you can get it around half the price. So it's a worry-free watch, and this represents comfort. So believe it or not, having a less expensive watch can give you this advantage. Let me tell you that Seiko is one of the most integrated watch companies in the world. They produce absolutely everything in-house, from the quartz crystals, the gaskets, the oils, the batteries, everything inside. So when you buy a Seiko, you get this. Not everybody can offer this confidence. Seiko had tremendous success because of its enormous innovation, and it built a staggering amount of fan base, gaining also jealousy and critics such as the "it's just a Seiko" stereotype by snobs. Yeah, it's just a Seiko, but even just a Seiko of this price point, you can get a fully in-house aspect, the true original designs. Also keep in mind, Seiko is the one and only PADI official partner. If there's something Seiko can do better than other companies, are diving watches, and there is no way to deny it. Seiko makes watches to actually go diving. They're not just a novelty like many other divers out there. Seiko has huge extended history on developing diving watches. So let me start right there and let me explain to you a little bit about the history behind this watch in particular. This is a homage to the world's first quartz saturation diver released in 1978, the iconic Golden Tuna. And why is it golden? Well, it was not for aesthetics only, it was about functionality. The golden color is because of a material called titanium nitride, and it was a very durable and scratch resistant material. Seiko is always about efficiency and functionality first, and this is why Japanese divers tend to be better capable tools than Swiss watches, because Swiss divers don't really prioritize the functionality first. So it all began with a letter from Hiroshima, the correspondent, a professional diver, explained that no watch could withstand the stress and strains he experienced when working at depths greater than 300 meters. Inspired, Seiko engineers got down to work. Years of research development paid off in 1975 with the introduction of the world's first titanium case diver's watch, the Professional Diver 600 meters. 3 years later, the Professional Diver 600 meters was upgraded with the 7549 caliber, transforming it into the world's first saturation diving with the quartz movement. In 1983, to test the reliability, the watch was strapped to the research submarine Shinkai 2000 and taken to a depth of 1062 meters below the sea level, nearly twice as deep as its specified maximum, and it performed with perfect accuracy. So what made this watch special? First of all, the famous and iconic shroud not only protects the watch from dings and shocks, it also prevents the bezel to turn accidentally, and also it acts as a crown guard. Second, the lugless design. By not having lugs, the watch can be much bigger in diameter and increase wearability. Third, the L-shaped seals. When the watch goes too deep in the water and the pressure is so overwhelming, helium gas gets inside the watch, and when the watch makes its way up to the surface again and decompressing, helium wants to escape the watch, resulting in the watch basically exploding and failing. While Swiss divers came up with the helium escape valve to let the helium to be released when decompressing, Seiko came up with the smarter idea to fix the problem by simply not letting helium to get inside the watch in the first place, and that's thanks to the L-shaped seals. Fourth, the monocoque case design, meaning there was no removable case back. This increased significantly the reliability because now there's absolutely no failing point on the case back at all. No matter anything else, nothing can beat this design when it comes to water resistant. No need to worry about deteriorating seals on the case back. Fifth, the crown at the 4 o'clock position. This is simply so cool because the crown can dig into your wrist on the traditional 3 o'clock position, and by moving it to the 4 o'clock position, this is not the case anymore. And of course, the Tuna had a very high and high torque quartz movement inside, so this watch shares the DNA of the Golden Tuna. Not everything though, but some. But these are the things that you get. You get the shroud, you get the crown at the 4 o'clock position, you get the small lugs, giving it a more circular aesthetic that I personally love. You get the same handset that improves legibility. You get the same applied hour indices that are strategically sized and shaped to improve legibility. And you get not that high-end movement, but you get a very good quartz movement. And I will explain why it's so good at this price point in a little bit. This is the Professional Associations of Divers Instruction Special Edition Prospects, which stands for Professional Specifications. So let's get the measurements out of the way. So it's a big watch, 47 millimeters diameters because of the shroud, but also those 47 millimeters are lug to lug. A 10 millimeter thickness, making this probably the thinnest Seiko diver. It would appear to be thicker than other watches because if you notice, the thickness in this watch is even all around, while other watches' thickness is all based on the center and they are thinner on the outer part of the case. But nonetheless, this watch is pretty thin, especially for a diving watch. If you also notice, the Seiko screw-down case back is actually flatter than, for example, this other Seiko diver. Alright, so let's continue with materials. It's a stainless steel case, all polished on the bottom with this iconic tsunami emblem, making reference to the very glorious Kanagawa tsunami, framed by, hear me out urban gentry, it's not Hokusei, it's a Hokusai, a woodblock print published sometime between 1829 and 1833. Continuing about the case, the lugs are a satin finish on top and then a polish on the sides. The screw-down crown is bead blasted, that by the way has some wobble motion to it. Not sure if this is a system that prevents the stem to be damaged or is solidly connected to the stem, but it wobbles. Nothing I worry about because it's a quartz, so you don't need to unscrew this part that often at all. Continuing with the case, it has these bolts that can be opened with an Allen key in case you want to change the shroud. Take a close look at the bolts since even these parts are finished alternating polish and satin finishes. Alright, so going to the bezel, it's a satin bezel with very grippy indentations that makes it relatively easy to rotate, taking into account that the shroud limits you to completely move the bezel. Nonetheless, when your hands are clean, the bezel is very easy to turn, and when my hands are oily, well, it's not too easy, but it's still functional. You can still do it. Now, this is a 120 click bezel with an on and off type of sound. Personally, I really like this kind of bezel, and it's a little bit loud. I'll let you hear it for yourself. On top of a bezel, we have a transparent matte plastic kind of material that lets you see all the markings, that if you notice, those markings, they have a little bit of a three-dimensional depth to it. Very cool. Although, I only imagine how better it will be on a Harlex or sapphire crystal, but it will be so hard to manufacture because of the three-dimensional markings. The shroud is made of a hard polymer material, making it durable and scratch resistant. Moving on to the dial, we have a Harlex crystal at this price point. Of course, Harlex is supposed to be more scratch resistant and more shed resistant than conventional mineral crystal, but not as hard as sapphire. The crystal has an angle cut on the outer side, making it play a little bit with the inner side of the bezel. Inside the dial, we have an aligned chapter ring, applied markers, a framed black date wheel on the 4 o'clock position, making it play as an hour marker. I personally like this because it's nicely framed, letting it blend with the hour markers, and because the date background is black, it lets it blend even better. So the minute hand is red, improving readability. The 3, 6 and 9 hour markers are slightly bigger than the rest, again to improve legibility. And the 12 o'clock marker is shaped as an inverse triangle as a point of reference to improve legibility again. The Seiko logo is applied, then the rest of the information is printed into this wave pattern where the solar panel lies underneath. Of course, now you know it's a solar watch, so you never need to change batteries. It is an ISO certified 200 meters diving watch, so it has to pass all those exams to be certified. Being a quartz, it's almost immune to magnetism. Although being an ISO certified watch, it also needs to have a certain level of anti-magnetism as well. I will show you the lume now. which is amazing, and you can see that it has a bicolor application, and you see this part of the bezel is loomed too. So how about the experience with this watch? It's incredible. You get the original Tuna design, you get the small lugs making it super wearable despite its large size. It's amazing. I had many other smaller watches that were wearing actually bigger and more uncomfortable in my wrist than this. For me, this is the answer to my search for a wearable diving watch. I don't really need to look for a 39mm, almost impossible to find diving watch. By not having lugs, the watch appears more round, which is cool. The crown at the 4 o'clock position, the interesting bezel. Honestly, I dislike matte aluminum bezels. They're just so generic, and this bezel lets me breathe from them. It makes it feel like a more complete watch, even though it has a Harlex crystal, which I wish it was domed. Would I prefer a ceramic or a DLC glossy bezel? Yes, maybe yes, but you can't deny that for this price point, this is much better than a generic aluminum bezel. Next to the movement, we have the V157 movement, which is surprisingly a very good quality quartz movement. Usually only high-end quartz movements have jewels, and normal quartz movements don't have any jewels. Well, this has jewels. It is a plus minus 15 seconds a month with a 10-month power reserve once it's fully charged. The strap is actually really good quality. It's soft and comfortable. Unfortunately, being a diving watch, the strap is too long for my wrist, so I put it on this Barton Elite silicone strap that is also great, except for the fact that this doesn't support the Seiko Fat spring bars. Overall, it's a very interesting and fun watch. It feels so robust, but let me tell you something. A week ago I saw another review claiming this to be better than a G-Shock. Just to go straight to the point, no, it's not better than a G-Shock, and a G-Shock is not better than this neither. There are different goals between different watches. Also, saying a G-Shock is very subjective because there's just so many models. There is super high-end G-Shocks and there are basic ones. So the main thing with the G-Shock is that it can receive shocks and impacts. This Seiko is probably tougher than most divers out there, definitely. But for example, the crystal is exposed, not like a G-Shock that the crystal is recessed. And this watch doesn't have any suspended module technology like the G-Shock, so it's not as robust as the G-Shock, definitely. Therefore, it's not better than a G-Shock. But it is true that it feels very robust, and definitely I can say that Tuna Seikos are probably better than any other diving watch about efficiency and about getting the job done. Yes, there's more refined watches, there's watches that are more difficult to make, and there's more details and interesting aspects of them, but to actually go diving as a tool, these watches are the best. Negatives about this watch. Well, the second hand doesn't align perfectly like citizen divers do, but the chapter ring, indices, and hands are aligned perfectly. Being a quartz, this watch doesn't have any gear slack to protect the gear train, so these hands are very well aligned. Amazing watch for the price point. I totally recommend it if you're looking for a real functional, real reliable, durable watch that you can actually go diving with. Let me know what you think in the comments. Good or bad comments are always welcome. There is just one rule: you need your evidence. So bring your evidence and be prepared, because we want to engage in healthy discussions about this topic. Without anything further, I'll see you in the next one.